Chapter 2, The Awakening. The next morning, Elara woke before sunrise. She had dreamed of darkness. Not the frightening kind. This darkness had felt alive. It had moved around her like water. It had whispered in a language she almost understood. When she opened her eyes, something was standing at the foot of her bed. Elara screamed. The shape disappeared. She sat upright, breathing heavily. Her room was empty. The only thing that remained was a strange black mark on the wooden floor. It looked like a handprint. Elara stared at it. Then it faded. She told no one. At the Academy of Gifts, the final awakening ceremony was being held for all Fae nearing adulthood. The ceremony took place in the Hall of Elements. Hundreds of glowing crystals hung from the ceiling. Each crystal represented a known type of Fae magic. The students stood in a circle. One by one, they stepped forward. Nessa was called first. She placed both hands into a silver basin. Water rose around her fingers. Then it formed a shining crown above her head. The crowd applauded. Rowan was next. He stepped onto the center platform. Try not to destroy anything, Elara whispered. No promises. Rowan closed his eyes. The air began to move. His hair lifted. The banners hanging around the room began to flutter. Then a powerful gust exploded outward. The crowd cheered. Rowan opened his eyes. He looked incredibly pleased with himself. Elara smiled. Then her name was called. Elara of Sunflower Glade. The room became quiet. Elara walked to the center. She could feel hundreds of eyes watching her. She placed her hands on the awakening crystal. It was cold. She closed her eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Find the magic. Reach. Pull. Nothing. The crystal remained dark. A few Fae began whispering. Elara tried again. Harder. Pain spread through her chest. The crystal trembled. A crack appeared across its surface. Elara opened her eyes. The crack spread. The crystal shattered. Every candle in the room went out. Darkness swallowed the hall. Someone screamed. Elara stood frozen. Then something moved behind her. A shadow. Her shadow. It rose from the floor. It stretched upward. It formed wings. Elara gasped. The darkness exploded outward. For one brief moment, everyone in the room saw her. Her eyes had turned silver. Black markings covered her arms. And behind her stood enormous wings made entirely of shadow. Then the lights returned. The wings vanished. The room was silent. Master Orin stared at the broken crystal. The head instructor whispered. Impossible. Elara looked at her hands. What happened? No one answered. Then, from the back of the hall, someone said, Shadow Fae. The words moved through the crowd like a spark through dry grass. Shadow Fae. Shadow Fae. Shadow Fae. Elara looked toward the entrance. A royal guard stood there. His hand rested on the hilt of his sword. Elara ran. She did not wait for Rowan. She did not wait for Nessa. She did not wait for anyone. She ran into the forest. Behind her, the alarm bells began to ring. Elara ran until the academy disappeared behind the trees. Her lungs burned. Her heart pounded. She finally stopped beside a pool of moonlit water. Her reflection stared back at her. Silver eyes. Dark markings. A faint black mist curled around her shoulders. No, she whispered. The mist moved. Elara stepped backward. The shadows beneath the trees shifted. She raised her hands. Stop. The darkness stopped. Elara froze. She had not imagined it. The shadows were listening. She slowly reached toward the nearest tree. A thin strand of darkness stretched from her fingers. It touched the tree. And suddenly, Alara could feel everything. The roots beneath the ground. The insects crawling beneath the bark. The movement of creatures hidden deep in the forest. She could sense the shape of the entire clearing without seeing it. She pulled her hand away. The connection vanished. Alara stared at her fingers. Her first gift was not simply the ability to control shadows. She could feel through them. She could use darkness as an extension of herself. She turned toward a patch of shadow beneath an ancient tree. Without thinking, she stepped into it. The world vanished. For one terrifying second, there was nothing. Then Alara stumbled out of another shadow, several feet away. She fell to her knees. She stared back at the place where she had been standing. She had moved through darkness. She could travel through shadows. A sudden noise made her turn. A rabbit stood nearby. Alara looked at it. The rabbit stared back. Then somehow, she knew it was afraid. Not because she could speak with it. Because she could feel the rabbit's shadow. Its fear trembled through the darkness. Alara pulled away. Her powers were frightening. But they were also incredible. Then she heard footsteps. Alara. Rowan. She turned. He emerged from the trees, breathing hard. Nessa followed close behind him. "What did you do?" Rowan asked. Alara stared at them. "I don't know." Nessa looked at the dark markings on her arms. "Neither does anyone else." Rowan's expression changed. He looked over his shoulder. "We need to go." "Where?" "Somewhere the guards won't find us." Alara looked toward the distant kingdom. She could see the glow of the royal towers through the trees. The bells were still ringing. Then she heard another sound. A whisper. Not from Rowan. Not from Nessa. From the shadows. "Run." Alara turned toward the forest. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" Nessa asked. The shadows moved. "They are coming." Alara's heart stopped. She looked at her friends. "We have to go."